Thank you, Russ. Good evening once again. And West Bromwich Albion alongside Leeds United look to be the class of the field in the Championship at the moment. But as we've seen over so many years, things can change very quickly. And Preston North End are currently on a downswing after an excellent start to the season. They were second themselves only a few weeks ago, but the international break came at the wrong time along with a crop of injuries, and back-to-back defeats have sent them spiralling back into the pack. But West Bromwich Albion at the moment look to be the side who have a firm grip on one of the automatic promotion places. Their squad has depth, and more importantly, it has quality, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, it does, and I think that experience and blend of craft, across that midfield three, if you like, that's in front of the two City midfield players, and Matt Phillips, Pereira and Diagana, has got real potency, and it's going to test this back four of Preston here tonight. It'll be a real interesting battle against them three players.
And Preston have a huge injury list at the moment, key players as well. Darnell Fisher, Ben Davis, Andy Hughes, Patrick Bauer and Paul Gallagher, all unavailable tonight. I'm sure they would have all played given the opportunity. Their defensive resources are stretched to breaking point. Alan Brown filling in as a fullback, we understand. Once again, Paul Huntington coming to play his first league game since April. Elsewhere, Jayden Stockley will come in as one of the forward-thinking players, and Brad Potts will return to midfield in the absence of the influential Paul Gallagher. It is running goal, Rafferty, Story, Huntington and Brown the back four, Potts and Pearson holding in midfield, Stockley, Johnson and Maguire behind Barkhausen. West Bromwich Albion unchanged from their very impressive 4-1 win against Bristol City last Wednesday. They have goals all over the field, 16 different goal scorers already this season, and people wondered where the goals would come from in the absence of Harvey Barnes, Jay Rodriguez and Dwight Gale. Well, the answer is from everywhere. Their team is Johnson in goal, Ferguson and Gibbs are the two fullbacks, Ajay and Bartley at the heart of their defence. Sawyers and Livermore holding midfield with Phillips, Pereira and Diangana behind Robson Kanu. The two benches, Preston, Tom Bayliss, Josh Harrop, Ryan Leadsom, David Nugent, Billy Bowden, Connor Ripley and Jack Armour, a young defender recalled from a loan spell in non-league at Lancaster City. For West Brom, Jonathan Bond, their goalkeeper, Darnell Furlong, Philip Kravinovic, Charlie Austin, Carl Edwards, Hamed Hagazi and Gareth Barry. He's still playing at his age. You should come out of retirement.
Well, it's a credit to him. He's looked after himself. He's obviously offering something to offer still to the side, his experience. And if you look at that West Brom bench, it has got real experience about it.
And we saw him play at Sheffield United around this time last year, and he absolutely ran the game in a big game.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he might feature tonight, at some point, just to get West Brom's a foothold back in the game. But they're playing so well. This initial starting 11 that West Brom have put out is playing so well with such confidence that he won't want to change the side whatsoever.
Oliver Langford is our referee. He was fourth official at St James's Park for one of the game day commentaries on TalkSport between Newcastle and Manchester City at the weekend. West Brom in their yellow and green stripes, yellow shorts and green socks. Preston, proud Preston in their famous white shirts, blue shorts and red and white hoop socks. And Deepdale is a fantastic venue for a game like this. A ground modelled on the Luigi Ferrari Stadium in Genoa. It is modern, it is forward-thinking, and it is very full here this evening. Preston will get the game underway. Daniel Johnson inside the centre circle. The West Brom fans have travelled in numbers up the car park, which is the M6 on a Monday evening, and it's Preston who get the game underway in their white shirts, playing from right to left on the home of the EFL. TalkSport 2, Preston unbeaten at home, West Brom looking to return to the top of the table. It's got all the ingredients of a really expansive game.
Yes, it has. It's no coincidence though that the game started as it has, with Preston trying to put West Brom on the back foot, turning the back four around, putting the ball in behind them and forcing a throw-in for West Brom to try and get out of that, which they've done themselves. But there'll be no quarter given in this first 15 minutes, I would have thought. No side will want to slip up.
Well, just looking at the defensive formation for Preston, it does look as though Alan Brown is filling in again at right back. He played there for the defeat at Derby, he was injured and he missed the 4-0 defeat against Hull, but Ryan Leadsom had a bit of a nightmare in that position, so Brown has come back in as the emergency right back this evening once again. Sam Johnston, the West Brom goalkeeper, clears long downfield wearing pink and sky blue, defending the West Brom goal away to our left-hand side. It's gathered by Diangana in the centre circle, and Sawyers quickly plays it forward into the path of Diangana once again. Pereira is demanding the ball for West Brom in the centre circle, and he eventually receives it now wide on the far side, and he skips away from Brown, and there's an opportunity for Gibbs to bring it forward, but he's quickly run into touch by Ben Pearson, and Pearson will have to cover a huge amount of ground here tonight with a makeshift Preston back four behind him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's vastly important tonight for Preston, I would have thought, Nige. You know, he's got the experience. The only thing I would say with Pearson against him is the fact that he gets suspended and sent off quite a bit, but that aggression gives Preston a foothold in the game more times than not, and they need that tonight.
Well, Ben Pearson has already missed the game due to too many bookings this season, has 5 already. Last season, 14 yellows and 3 reds. But he is a key player for Preston, but keeping him on the field has often been an issue for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at the ultimate, if you like, you know, if you look at Manchester United in their heyday when Roy Keane was that similar type of player, you know, big accolade comparing him to Roy Keane, but he does a similar sort of thing for Preston. He gets about the pitch, puts his foot in, sets the tempo, gets people at it, and he's going to be really needed in there tonight.
And Ben Pearson, also a former Manchester United Academy player. Conditions absolutely perfect here. Still chilly, but not too cold. Not as cold as it was this morning, as Preston look to try and build with a throw-in from Brown on the far side there right, as they attack the Alan Kelly town end away to our left-hand side in the first half, but it's given away, and it's Diangana looking to burst into the penalty area down the right, but he's held up. Pottswood clear, but Sawyers is there again just to try and maintain possession for West Brom, and he's won a throw-in challenge by Stockley. And Diangana standing on the byline, of course, can't be offside, and now he gathers on the edge of the penalty area, but he's challenged by Brown, who clips it forward up towards the halfway line once again.
I tell you what, Brown's started really, really well. No, he's using all his experience at right back. Yeah, he's a standing right back. Obviously he can play there, the lad. He's making it difficult for Diangana because he's made his intentions clear already. Diangana, he's going to take him on. He's going to take him into the box and try and get balls in the box, so it's going to be a tough night for him.
Fantastic stadium, Deepdale, and it's a real feature as well that 3 of the 4 stands have famous figures from Preston's past picked out in the seats. The face of Alan Kelly away to our left-hand side, Bill Shankly, who was a player here in the 1930s, on the old Cop end away to our right, and here in the stand we're sat in, it's the Sir Tom Finney stand, the legendary player from Preston North End, and it's no surprise that the season after he retired, they were relegated from the First Division and haven't been back to the top flight since. Now Johnston plays it out towards Sawyers on this near side. Sawyers can often be a very languid player, but his targets are usually found with his range of passing. As West Brom look to push out again, but Daniel Johnson looking to lead a fairly high press from Preston, but it needs to be sustained, and Johnson went on his own and Potts was some way behind him.
Yeah, well, they're not frightened of playing in tight areas, West Brom, you can see that. They take a chance, like all top sides. They're confident in possession.
Pereira brings it down superbly just inside the Preston half, and now comes in field, sprays it wide to this near side on a very good playing surface. Here is Matt Phillips with just under 5 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Goalless here at Deepdale, a big game at the top of the EFL Championship. Now Ferguson, the teenager who has shown up so well since being given his opportunity by Slaven Bilic at the start of the season. Sawyers again, back towards Livermore, clip forward, seeking out the run of Phillips, but it's cleared away by Rafferty on this near side. Now Bartley again, a low pass right down the centre. Robson Kanu was able to turn. He looked to bring Diangana into the play, but Preston are able to clear, but it's given straight back to West Brom. And here is Gibbs on the far side, the left. Diangana will now try and take on Brown, but once again Brown does well. He's got support from Barkhausen, and his clearance up towards the halfway line is intercepted. And now Diangana inside the area down the left tries to pick his way through beyond Alan Brown, but overhits the ball and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff from West Brom, Nige. And you can see a shape taking place now within the game. Both fullbacks are well in advance for West Brom. Both comfortable in possession, both Ferguson and Gibbs. And it's allowing the wide players to come off the line and join in. And it's been very difficult for Preston to get out in that passage of play for the last 5 minutes, but they've been diligent, stayed with runners, made it difficult.
Early goal in the FA Cup. Solihull Moors lead Rotherham by 1-0. So Tim Flower's team are ahead, and the winner of that tie will be at home to Hull in the third round draw. If you missed it, Russ will recap it in full at half time. We'll also be hearing from the AFC Fylde manager later on, Jim Bentley. Great tie for them. Away to Sheffield United. The standout ties: Wolves against Manchester United, Liverpool against Everton again in the third round of the FA Cup. Chelsea are at home to Forest in the third round for the second successive season. Manchester City will be at home to Port Vale, and Tottenham will be going to Middlesbrough. And who was the last man to score a winning goal for Spurs in a cup final?
Go on.
Jonathan Woodgate.
Very good.
That was given to me by somebody else, by the way.
You're not claiming it then?
No, I'm not claiming it. No, that would be harsh. But Middlesbrough against Spurs, one of the big ties. And you can get a full rundown on the third round draw on our website, talksport.com. Now Livermore, but a free kick's been given to West Brom for an earlier challenge by Potts on Pereira, and he's such an elusive runner, Pereira, and I know he annoys people. He annoys me when he goes down too easily, but he's the sort of player equivalent to maybe Jota and Neves, which Wolves had a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and similar to Hernandez at Leeds, is that type, he can open people up. Just looking at Preston's midfield and how they've lined up, Nige, we thought it might be a 2 and a 1 with one in behind, Johnson in behind Barkhausen, but it looks like both Potts and Johnson are forming a 2 that's going to join Barkhausen with Pearson just sat off.
And here is Pereira for West Brom. 0-0 in the early stages here at Deepdale. Now Bartley again, Johnson and Stockley, the advanced players for Preston in this attack, but West Brom will come forward themselves now with Matt Phillips, but he runs into the considerable figure of Ben Pearson. And now Johnson with the ponytail will go back towards Joe Rafferty, one of the relative newcomers in the Preston side, and Declan Rudd will clear downfield. Only 4 clean sheets in 18 games for him so far this season, although Sam Johnston has a similar record for West Brom. Both teams tend to score in West Brom games. They, at the moment, are outscoring the opposition, but Slaven Bilic will not take that for granted.
No, I mean, his side's definitely settled the best here tonight, Nigel. There's no two ways about it. They look really composed on the ball. They move the ball about well, slickly. They get both full-backs in advance. Just a little bit wasteful, Preston, when they win the ball back. They're pressing well, staying with the runners and being diligent, but just a split second longer on the ball than what they're taking at this moment in time to knit passes together.
Preston unbeaten at home, 7 wins and 2 draws so far this season. 23 of their 31 points so far have come here. They've managed only 6 goals in 9 away games so far this season, but they're just in a bad trot. Back-to-back defeats to Derby and Hull after 3 wins in a row. They've dropped from 2nd to 6th after a really good start to the season. Alex Neil, of course, has been linked with various jobs, but he's stayed loyal to Preston for now as Preston try and come forward with Maguire on the far side, but he's just held up by Kieran Gibbs, who made a goal-scoring return to the West Brom side against Bristol City on Wednesday. His long ball forward is chested off by Pereira, and now Livermore will try and run through, but he was just caught by Huntington inside the West Brom half, and a couple of West Brom players looking for a yellow card there, but they do have the free kick.
Yeah, clever though by Robson Kanu. Saw both challenges coming in, both Preston players coming either side of him to challenge, and he just dummied and feinted and let the ball run and jumped over the challenges, and it was a foul, it was a free kick, but he manages to avoid a real bone-crunching tackle. But they've definitely settled the better of the two sides, West Brom.
13 minutes played, 0-0 here on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Tomorrow we have leasing.com trophy commentary, MK Dons against Coventry, and then on Wednesday It is Tranmere against Manchester United's under-21s, and there'll be a round-the-ground service over on TalkSport tomorrow night and on Wednesday, a midweek round of Premier League games, and we're back in the Championship on Friday. I'll be alongside Sam Parkin at the Den for Millwall against Forest, and there's a big West Yorkshire derby on Saturday lunchtime. That is Huddersfield against Leeds here on TalkSport 2, and Spurs against Burnley will be the Premier League commentary at 3 o'clock. West Brom try to play their way out of trouble on this near side, but Nathan Ferguson knocks it straight out of play. Jayden Stockley, the man putting the pressure on, and it's a throw-in on this near side, which Joe Rafferty will take. And there's a big responsibility on the shoulders of Stockley, a player who's not had too much luck in front of goal since arriving from Exeter in League Two. And the long ball forward aimed for him was eventually cleared away by Sam Johnston. Hooked forward by Phillips, looking for Robson Kanu. Nice turn from him away from Johnson, but it's Pearson who comes in to try and win it back, and he's fouled by Robson Kanu, and it will be a Preston free kick.
Yeah, it's good play by Pearson, I have to say. Initially it's great play by Robson Kanu to fashion the ball back off the defenders, and he turns himself away, but Pearson's read it in that sitting midfield role, and he just pinches the ball, gets his body in the way and forces the foul. They're just staying in there with West Brom at this moment in time, Preston. They've shown little glimpses. Barkhausen's looking a little bit isolated up there, but they're definitely still in this game.
Story's free kick, high towards the edge of the penalty area, nodded away on the far side by Ajayi, and it will be a throw-in for Preston on their right, level with the edge of the West Brom penalty area. Brown will take it into the feet of Barkhausen, but it was all very tight and congested, and Brad Potts does well to eventually win another throw-in for Preston. Stockley waits inside the penalty area with Maguire, but they go short, and it's quickly cut out, and Diangana now hurdles a couple of challenges down the left-hand side for West Brom, quickly infield towards Pereira, back towards Diangana again, needs to be a good cross, but Daniel Johnson did brilliantly to track the run and then slide in inside the penalty area, and it's a perfectly timed challenge to concede the corner, but Johnson may have a problem.
Yeah, he's done brilliant there, Johnson, to be fair, and stay with Diangana, because it's a lightning break from the wide player, a little give and go with Pereira just to slide him inside the full-back, but Johnson's read it, stayed with him all the way and slid it out for a corner. I think he just caught his ankle maybe with the tackle, just limping away now, but great play by Johnson. Solihull Moors lead Rotherham by 2-0, so a real shock on the cards there. And Hull could be making preparations for a visit to the West Midlands, the posh part of the West Midlands, on third round day, as Stockley heads the ball away from the corner for Preston. And there's no real room to breathe for them on the edge of their own penalty area. Potts' ball back towards Rafferty is cut out. Here is Livermore. He's got support on the edge of the penalty area from Diangana, but it's a fine challenge to rob him. And now Preston will try and bring it forward themselves, but Diangana, not known for his tackling, wins it cleanly again from Maguire on this near side. Now Livermore just beckoning Ferguson towards him. He now plays in Diangana on the right side of the penalty area, back towards Livermore again. He was looking for the square ball further wide to the left for Pereira, but Preston will cut it out, and now they will try and break with the Irishman Maguire wide towards this near side, but Barkhausen won't get there before Ferguson, and it's back towards Johnson. Yeah, just look at Preston breaking there, Nigel. There's 4 bodies up there trying to work the ball against 6 yellow and green shirts who've got back quickly, and they just need to get more bodies forward when they break Preston. 15 minutes played, 0-0 at Deepdale, and Maguire has got a throw-in on this near side. And it's Rafferty who will take it. And Preston at the moment are finding it difficult to create. Potts comes short. Johnson, who looks their most likely in an attacking sense so far, heads towards this near side, but it's Rafferty who lofts it wide towards the right, taken down well by Brown. Stockley and Maguire with the movement inside the area. It's a deep cross looking for Stockley, who heads it down to Johnson with the shot, blocked well on the edge of the box by Livermore.
and it spins away to safety for West Brom, but it's quickly regathered by Pearson. A high ball over the top from him, headed away by Gibbs towards the far side. Pearson again just nips in ahead of Robson Kanu, and the long ball into the penalty area is eventually gathered by Johnston, and it will be a goal kick for West Brom. You're listening to Preston against West Brom in the Championship on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. Stuck for Christmas gift ideas? Visit screwfix.com/giftcard and send a Screwfix Christmas gift card today.
I tell you what, Nigel, it was a terrific bit of play by Barkhausen there, just to set the header back for Johnston. Just almost could have took that first time as it sat up for him, but he had a touch and the chance had gone, but much better from Preston.
Rafferty does well to cut out a long ball forward on this near side for Preston, and it's in towards Pearson again, and you just get the feeling that Ben Pearson needs eyes in the back of his head at the moment, with West Brom having plenty of runners often behind him in midfield. Now Rafferty again finding Johnson, who is very deep at the moment, and Pearson will go all the way back towards Story, another player signed from Exeter with little experience in the Championship so far this season. His long ball forward aim for his former teammate at St James's Park. Stockley is cut out, and now Gibbs will bring it forward for Albion once again, and they've been the dominant side without really working the goalkeeper Declan Rudd at all so far.
Yeah, that's right. The composure and the touch and the way they've set themselves out, you know, so confident with the passing and the movement, and they've got a real threat on this left-hand side in Diangana.
Preston have a throw-in as the volume has turned up by the home fans in the town end away to our left-hand side. So much has changed at this ground as the team has prospered on the field. That used to be a huge covered terrace away to our left-hand side as a long ball is hooked forward looking for Maguire, but Ferguson had taken up a very good position and cushions the header back towards Sam Johnston.
Yeah, there's a real athleticism about the back four for West Brom. If you look at both fullbacks, both quick, both athletic. Big Sammy Ajayi as well, very strong and powerful and quick. So if they do make mistakes, they've got the pace to get back and recover, and that was an example of it.
And Ajayi featured in midfield a couple of games ago due to suspensions for Sawyers and Livermore, and did really well, and that's the sort of versatility that can be so important in the Championship season. Now Bartley finding Ferguson, clipped over the top for Phillips again, but it's a good header away on this near side by Rafferty, but Livermore picks up the loose ball. Sawyers finding Phillips with his back to goal, 20 yards out down the right hand side. Ferguson infield towards Livermore once again, 18 and a half minutes played, 0-0. A nutmeg from Phillips on Rafferty, and here is Sawyers down the right, but he checks back, finds Phillips again, the cross in towards that near post area. Robson Kanu was challenging, it loops high across the face of goal, and a goal kick has been given in the end.
Well, I tell you what, it looked like it could have been a corner, because that was terrific defending by Jordan Story. It's a great ball into the near post by Phillips, whipped in, and I think it's Pereira that's read it, that tries to get across him at the near post, but he manages just to get pokes it in the air, and it goes out of behind the goal for a goal kick. But they're really ominous in wide areas, West Brom. They've got this link play, they get balls into the front, they get runners off people, but at this moment in time Preston are staying with them.
And the top six at the start of play, Leeds on 40, West Brom on 39, into the playoff places, Fulham 35, Forest 32, Bristol City 32, and Preston 31, and Brentford and Swansea a point adrift of Preston. And there's a West Brom player down, I think it's Semi Ajayi, just inside their own half on the far side, so there will be treatment for him.
Yeah, I think Barkhausen just caught him as he was playing that pass. I don't think there was anything in it. I think he's just left a little bit on the big man, Ajayi, who started this game really impressively, I have to say.
While he's receiving treatment, here are some of the ties from the FA Cup third round once again. Manchester City against Port Vale, Middlesbrough against Tottenham, Watford the bottom side at home to Tranmere, Fulham playing Villa in a repeat of the playoff final from a couple of seasons ago, Chelsea against Forest, Wolves Manchester United, Charlton against West Brom, Rochdale or Boston will play Newcastle, so a big prize in the replay there. Hartlepool, if they can beat Exeter in their replay, will travel to Oxford. Sheffield United against AFC Fylde. Liverpool against Everton. Bournemouth will play Luton. Brighton against Sheffield Wednesday. Palace against Derby. Gillingham will play West Ham, so a big tie in Kent. Burnley at home to Peterborough. And Arsenal against Leeds. That's a big one.
Yeah, replay the 72 final.
And of course, Thierry Henry famously came back and scored against Leeds in the FA Cup more recently, but some people have been talking about Bielsa as a contender for the Arsenal job. Well, that could be an audition. Now Ferguson with an outstanding run forward for West Brom. He carried the ball fully 60 yards and the right-footed shot is turned over the top by Rudd.
Yeah, brilliant play by young Ferguson from right back. Slack defending by Preston, I have to say, but he spots the space and drives him inside, and he's so quick, difficult to get to, and he strikes it beautifully, but it's tipped over the bar by Jekyll and Rudd. It's a good save because he needed to save it. It was on target.
And having said what I've just said, I don't think Bielsa will go to Arsenal, but he should be a contender, shouldn't he?
You'd think so with what he knows, and if you look at his history and what he's done, I would have thought the Leeds fans won't be wanting to
No.
Mate,
I think he's got, I think he'll see the job out this season, whatever happens, and then take it from there. Phillips with the corner, high towards the far post and beyond everybody, and that's a disappointment for West Brom as Preston have a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a poor ball by Phillips. He's better than that. I think he's just trying to leave that at the far post, for bigger J.I. But he struck it wrong. He struck across it somehow, and it's managed to float out for a goal kick on the other side. But great play by Ferguson to force the corner initially.
A couple of big games coming up on Talk Sport on Saturday as part of game day. Everton against Chelsea with Clive Tilsley at 12:30, and Sam Matterface will bring you the Manchester derby from the Etihad alongside Laura Woods and Stuart Pearce at 5:30. Of course, City now 11 points behind Liverpool after that 2-2 draw we brought you from St James's Park on Saturday. Huddersfield Leeds a pretty big derby as well this weekend.
Yeah, Yorkshire derby. Yeah.
I'm sure the Cowleys looking forward to that. And they've not played each other for a few years as well. Now Livermore finding Phillips. Phillips, such a good runner with the ball at his feet. Back towards Ferguson. 23.5 minutes played. Goalless here on TalkSport 2 at Deepdale with Neil Redfern and myself, Nigel Adderley, as Dean Garner brings it forward now, and it's an excellent ball to pick up. Pereira down the left, a low ball driven in towards the near post, blocked by Brown, and then it's eventually cleared away by Pearson. But Pearson is doing the work of 2 or 3 men at the moment with that sort of covering.
Yeah, he is, and he's having to do it, and he's not frightened of doing it, to be fair to him. He just sat in front of the back four now. He's getting deeper and deeper, I have to say. And there's a little bit of a disconnect between the back four, Pearson, and the front midfield and Barkhausen up front, and that's a problem for Preston when they get forward. But it's all because this West Brom side is so on top, and the possession and the way they move the ball, it's difficult for Preston to get bodies forward.
West Brom with 11 wins, 6 draws, and just that single defeat against Leeds so far this season. And it's 6 wins, 2 draws, and that loss away from home. And the goals have been flying in at the Hawthorns, but they've only conceded 5 in their 8 away games so far this season, which is the best record in the Championship. But they always give you a chance at the Hawthorns. As Maguire plays it forward now, looking for the run of Potts down the Preston left, but it's blocked by Bartley, and it will be a throw-in for Preston down this near side. And while it's 0-0, they'll be satisfied that they're just keeping West Brom at bay at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Maguire able to turn in the area away from Sawyer, and he goes for goal at the near post, and it's blocked by Johnston with better options in support.
Yeah, wrong option. I mean, he's struck it and he's hit the target, and he's had to save it, to be fair, Johnson, but I think there's white shirts in the middle that are better options.
Now Robson Kanu down the right for West Brom, looks to bob and weave in between the challenge of Rafferty and Story, and he's won a corner for West Brom once again down the right.
See, that's one of the problems that Preston have got. When they do commit people forward, they break so quickly, West Brom, when they turn the ball over. They're down the other end as quick as you like, and they force the corner. You can understand that there's players that want to try and keep the shape and be disciplined and stop West Brom going forward.
The corner's played short to Pereira, and was the ball not in the quadrant?
Yeah, I don't think the linesman...
The assistant is telling them to take it again.
Well, it's close enough.
Yes, he was. I think he had a magnifying glass as well. And now the ball is just about clinging on to the outer edge of the quadrant as Phillips swings in the corner, headed away unchallenged by Stockley at the near post. Now Ferguson back towards Pereira, who swings a low ball in. Phillips controls on the edge of the area. I don't think he was the intended recipient, but he curls it, and it's just wide, and that would have been a brilliant goal from Matt Phillips.
Great bit of play by Phillips. It's a good ball into him, but he doesn't realise how much space he's got, and his touch takes him away, and he just opens himself up on his left foot. He tries to feel it into that far corner, and he's inches away from putting West Brom into the lead. It's a great play by Phillips. Good spot.
It remains goalless. West Brom have had one goalless draw since Boxing Day of 2017. That came at Reading last season. But the way this game is going, you just have the feeling it won't end goalless. As Pereira comes forward again, and it's a good challenge on this near side by Joe Rafferty. The Preston crowd are rising to acclaim one of their former players, Les Campbell, who died recently. He was part of their team in the 1950s alongside Sir Tom Finney. As Preston win a free kick on this near side. 27.5 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Preston North End 0, West Bromwich Albion 0.
I have to say, there's a real desire by this Preston team to run for one another, to work for one another, cover one another, track runners. You know, they're not going to let West Brom have this game easily.
Alex Neil has done a really good job here. Rafferty with the free kick high into the area, headed away by Jai, and then it's swung wide to the far side by Pereira. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do, but it's a throw in to Preston. And we should mention as well, Preston have drawn Norwich in the FA Cup, so Alex Neil will be reunited with his former club. But of course he played them in the Championship last season. A long throw will be delivered for Preston from the far side. Stockley makes the run towards that near post. He challenges, doesn't win the header, but it bounces on the edge of the penalty area before Stockley is penalised for a nudge on Sawyers, and it's a free kick to West Brom.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a waste that, really, because I'm not sure the throw gets the distance that's required. I think in the end, it's Barkhausen that pushes somebody over and puts the foul away, but you know, I think these are the little opportunities that Preston have got to try and make the most of. You know, the long throws, the corners, the set plays. They're going to miss Gallagher. I mean, he's a set play specialist. You know, you mentioned it right at the beginning of the show, Nigel, and you're right. But they need to get the quality into the box.
Yeah, 14 set-piece goals so far this season, the most in the Championship, and 4 of the last 6. A long ball is played over the top for Preston again by Paul Huntington, who is lacking match fitness, having barely played since April. Only one appearance so far this season. He scored in the EFL Cup against Hull, but he's been surplus to requirement to play with a huge amount of experience at this level with the likes of Newcastle and Leeds United. As Declan Rice clears downfield, and the Preston goalkeeper has not really had a shot to save so far, apart from that one effort from Ferguson which he turned over the top. As West Brom win another free kick with nearly half an hour played. You're listening to Preston North End against West Bromwich Albion in the Championship on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. And if you're stuck for Christmas gift ideas, visit screwfix.com/gift card and send a Screwfix Christmas gift card today. Sam Johnston outside his penalty area as West Brom look to play out again, but they're doing it with a good deal more conviction than they showed for much of last season. As Livermore is found by Phillips down the right, infield again towards Robson Kanu, who was cut down there by Ben Pearson, and it's a free kick for West Brom, and that's the sort of challenge which often gets Ben Pearson in trouble.
Yeah, he's late. He's very late, and I think he's tried to leave as much as he could on Robson Carno, as fairly as he could. But the referee's Johnny.
Can you leave something on somebody as fairly as you can?
Well, you can if you can disguise it, but he's not disguised.
No, is the answer.
Yeah, he's not disguised it that well there. And obviously Robson Carno's seen it coming and made the most of it. But there's just an athleticism about West Brom that Preston are struggling with at this moment in time. You know, yes, they're a good football side. Yes, they're very technical. They move the ball about the pitch, brilliant West Brom. But there's an athleticism that gets them from box to box really quickly. That's causing Preston a problem.
Phillips with the free kick. It's a good delivery high into the penalty area, and it's turned wide at the far post by Kyle Bartley, and he'll regard that as a really good opportunity.
He's got to score. It's a sitter. He's got to score. It's a great ball in. It's a great ball in from Phillips. Misses all the defenders out, the strikers. Times his run beautifully, Kyle Bartley, and he looks to me too casual. You know, I think there you've got to be thorough. If he's thorough and he puts that on target, it's a goal. He's 6 yards out.
Well, that was a really good chance for West Brom, and they've had the bulk of them so far. Preston have tried to do a containing job and almost hit them on the break, even though they're the home team, but their hand has really been forced by the resources available to Alex Neil as Huntington plays a long ball forward. It's a hopeful chase from Maguire, but it's gathered by Sam Johnston on this near side, and he quickly plays the ball out across the area towards Ajayi, and now Gibbs comes into the play, clipped forward by Sawyers. Diangana with a rather loose ball back, which is quickly intercepted by Barkhausen, but Diangana almost wins it back, and ultimately West Brom do have the throw-in.
Yeah, that's been impressive about West Brom today as well. Just the fact that they've worked the ball through the thirds really well against a real high press from Preston. They've obviously changed the shape to try and press West Brom, you know, with two in the front of midfield rather than two sat. But West Brom have played through it. They're just technically gifted. They move the ball quick from goal kicks. They're switched on. They've got the ball out the full-backs well. It's been a problem for Preston.
But they have a free kick on the halfway line, conceded for a foul on Paul Huntington. Alan Brown, the player who will take it. Huntington among the players now moving forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Can the set-piece Kings produce something here? It's nodded away by Ajayi on the edge of the box as far as Daniel Johnson. He's got support from Rafferty, but he runs it out to play, but the final touch was off Pereira, and it will be a throw-in for Preston North End. Midway inside the West Brom half on this near side. 33 minutes played, and it's still goalless here at Deepdale, with West Brom looking to return to the top of the table, and Preston hoping to extend their unbeaten home start to the season to 10 games. Now Diangana, a long diagonal ball for West Brom, challenged by Brown, and Brown's had the better of that confrontation at the moment, and on this occasion as well, as Diangana runs it out to play for a throw-in.
Yeah, he's done great, Brown. I have to say, he's stuck with him. You know, he's got a lot of pace, Diangana, but he stayed with him stride for stride, and he's got his body in there and made it difficult for him. And like you say, Nigel, he's coming out on top at this moment in time.
Headed forward by Ajayi. Diangana again. Lovely turn from him this time to almost wriggle beyond Brown on the outside. He's won the throw-in. Pereira quickly plays it forward towards Robson Carno on the edge of the area, but it'll be cleared away. Recovered though by Sawyers, who always seems to have a spare man for West Brom. Ajayi now finding Kyle Bartley. He's got time to knock the early ball over the top. Robson Carno was shaping for it, but it's nodded clear by Huntington towards the far side, and maybe that's a difference between West Brom of 12 months ago and now, as Pereira comes forward again, clips it in towards Phillips inside the area. The shot on the turn though never got hold of it, and it's gathered by Declan Rudd. But West Brom will go over the top now, whereas last season under Darren Moore it was always pass.
Yeah, it was in front of the opposition, and I think what you've got is you've got people that prepare to run past the front as well. If you look at Robson Carno, when he comes and shapes up and comes short for the ball, not only has he got support in front, he's got midfield runners going beyond him, and that's a real problem for the back four of Preston, because it gives the space then for Carno to come off and get hold of the ball and start play. But good play by West Brom.
West Brom won here 3-2 last season An own goal from Ben Davis was crucial in that win for them, but their 2 goal scorers, Jay Rodriguez and Dwight Gale, of course, moved on, although there is some talk that Gale may return in January. There'll be a number of clubs looking at the Newcastle striker, as it's given away by Maguire for Preston very cheaply. Gibbs can bring it forward on the far side. Rodriguez and Gale contributed 46 goals for West Brom last season. Harvey Barnes, of course, was also excellent in the first half of the season, but they've filled those gaps very well so far. And with some unexpected names, Charlie Austin, of course, was brought in to score the goals, but so far he's mainly had cameos from the bench. Livermore finding Pereira. Nice disguise from him to bring Phillips into the play down the right-hand side. There was the opportunity to deliver the early cross. He'll now try and take on Rafferty. Goes back towards Livermore again. Square to Sawyers. Sawyers just jabs it forward towards Pereira on the left side of the penalty area. Gibbs now brought into the play. It's a high hanging cross from him, which hangs too much and is gathered by Rudd.
Yeah, it's a poor ball in from Gibbs. He's better than that. But it's a good take by the goalkeeper. To be fair, Rudd, he's watched it all the way, he's backpedaling and he's took it underneath his bar. But again, great example of West Brom having controlled possession in the final third, and there's not right much that Preston can do about it. The touch and the passing so good and so slick round the box.
Do you think it's only a matter of time at the moment?
I do, yeah. I mean, what they've done really well, Preston, is they've stayed with them. They've stayed stride for stride, but it's almost Preston staying with West Brom rather than the other way around.
Robson Kanu almost pokes it through towards Diangana, but it breaks for Phillips, but it's a good challenge on him from Rafferty. Had to be, because he was the last man. Preston try and win it back, but it's not sticking with Potts. Stockley is left frustrated as West Brom win it back, and now Livermore finding Phillips again. Phillips unable to turn now. It's a good challenge from Pearson, and now Phillips works a 1-2 with Ferguson, but the return ball from the youngster was overhit, and Preston will have a throw in on this near side.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're talking about West Brom being that much in control of this game, and rightly they should be. You look at the players that's missing for Preston. I have to say this Preston side's done really, really well so far. Stayed with this West Brom side manfully.
Well, they are a team who have really almost been built in Alex Neil's image. Tenacious, maybe a bit chippy at times, but they've been getting results, and you can see why Preston were so keen to keep their manager in the summer when West Brom were alleged to be looking towards him. He got a new contract during the summer. There was that speculation linking him with Stoke before Michael O'Neill got the job as well, and he's the sort of manager who looks to be a good fit, and many chairmen will see that.
Well, you look at how well they've done this season, and we're talking now a little bit of a mini blip. They've gone a couple of games where they've got beat, and everybody's put the spotlight on it, and that's a credit to how well they've done and how far they've come.
They're still 6th in the table. They're 8 points behind West Brom, but they are in the playoff places as Pereira comes forward now for West Brom again, finding Phillips on this near side. Phillips with a easy ball in field to pick out Sawyers, and now it's wide towards Gibbs again on the far side. Sawyers picks up Diangana, who cuts in field from the left. His shot though blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Huntington. Played forward looking for Stockley, nodded clear though by Bartley. Pereira tries to win it back, leaps into the air looking for a free kick, doesn't get one. Johnson tries to bring it clear, but it's quickly won back for West Brom by Livermore. Livermore's looking for the overlap down the right from Ferguson, and the youngster now obliges. He comes in field again onto his left foot, finding Diangana on the edge of the penalty area. Sawyers on towards Pereira, and now there is space and time to deliver the cross for Gibbs, who hits the byline, fires it in low, but it was blocked at that near post, and it spins behind for a corner via Barkhausen.
Yeah, the pressure's incessant at the moment. A couple of good examples there of Preston when they regain possession. They can't get that first ball out of defence into Barkhausen with any quality, and it just keeps coming back. It's
a corner for West Brom in front of the players' tunnel on the far side, which is in the corner between the Invincibles pavilion and the Bill Shankly Town end, as the corner is played in towards that penalty area, flicked on, and then eventually Preston will clear, but it's West Brom who have the throw-in. And it's going to be Ferguson who will take it. Diangana makes the run towards the near post. Livermore is also offering support, and we have 5 minutes to play in the first half on TalkSport 2. 0-0 so far, but West Brom have been much the more impressive side, understandably, in terms of attacking intent. Now Bartley manages to muscle his way beyond Stockley, and the cross is fired high into the penalty area, cleared away as far as Pereira on the edge of the penalty area. His shot is deflected, and a scrambling Rudd is happy to see it loop over the crossbar.
Yeah, just enough there. It's great disguise. He's gone to play the ball out wide, and he's dragged and pulled his shot back across. And I think if that's on target, I don't think Rudd saves that, because he's slipping as he goes across his goal.
Another West Brom corner with 4 minutes to play in the first half on TalkSport 2. Don't forget, leasing.com trophy action on Tuesday and Wednesday as the corner is cleared away as far as Sawyer's on the edge of the penalty area, and now Ajayi is given the room to turn. He fires in a curler which is deflected, and that spins high over the crossbar for another corner.
Yeah, just look at Paul Huntington there. He's furious with his defenders, teammates, just about Sammy Ajayi. As that ball gets played into him, there's nobody near him. Good first touch, and he's got time to open up and try and pick his spot. In the end, they get a body in the way to block, but just signs there that Preston are just starting to crack and lose a little bit of concentration.
And Ajayi scored 8 times for Rotherham, a relegated side last season. Of course, he's a central defender, but he's very capable inside the opposition penalty area as well. An in-swinger from Phillips this time from the corner, headed away by Stockley. And now Ferguson almost gives the ball away to Maguire, but it's won back by Diangana on this near side. Sawyer's coming in from the right, plays the ball right across the field to the left, and Pereira. Matthias Pereira again, finding Livermore, who is the anchor man in this West Brom midfield at the moment. Sawyer's maybe a bit too square onto the penalty area to provide the pass, but it's flicked on by Bartley, and now it's Phillips again with a low shot, and he was looking for that to nestle in the near post, but it's deflected behind via Declan Rudd for a corner.
Well, he's come as close as anybody, to be fair, Phillips, this evening. It's another fantastic strike. The ball's just let run there by Bartley, and he takes it quickly. Good first touch, strikes it low on hand. I think it just deflects as it goes through.
Yeah, it was Declan Rudd who got a touch on that, the goalkeeper. Pereira drives in the corner, shaping for the header was Ajayi, but he doesn't make contact, and Preston will get the throw in. Diangana allowed the ball to dribble out, but everybody inside the stadium apart from him could see that was going to be a Preston ball. Yeah,
to be fair to Preston, they've defended these set players really, really well. They've got bodies in the way, they've tracked the runners, they've stayed diligent. Looking at Paul Huntington there organising, and Story's done really well there, and they're going to have to keep doing this now for the 90 minutes, because it's definitely all the players have been in and around this Preston half.
And we're sat in amongst the scouts and other managers watching here at Deepdale, and you'll know who that old gentleman was, or elderly gentleman I should say. He was Big Ron's assistant at Man United.
Oh, Mick Brown?
Mick Brown, that was him.
Yeah,
He's just gone in front of us.
Yeah.
Steve Davis, the former Burnley central defender, is also here watching as well.
Yeah, they must be saving the teas in the half-time tea room, mate.
I wonder who Mick Brown's working for now, because he must be of advanced age, I would imagine.
Yeah, you'd think so. They usually... he's been at United years, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah. Under various managers.
Yeah.
Now Livermore looks to win a throw-in for West Brom as we head towards half-time, and he does so. Declan Rudd's made a couple of decent saves the longer the first half has gone on. But Preston continue to be durable opponents here. And Ferguson nicks about 15 yards to take a throw-in on this near side as he seeks out Robson Kanu. It's cleared as far as Pereira, but then won back by Barkhausen. And he's a very good dribbler, Tom Barkhausen. He's got support from Brown, but Brown was never really set to overlap, plays it back in field, and it's stabbed away by Story into West Brom territory. Headed on by Stockley, and here is Johnson. Now Maguire with the opportunity to attack the penalty area. He was challenged by Ferguson, and Ferguson won the ball, and Maguire went down in a rather lightweight fashion. There'll be a single minute of added time. Now it's played wide to the far side by Sawyers. Gibbs again for West Brom, up towards the edge of the penalty area, and he checks back, and Sawyers will go all the way back towards the Jai, and the Preston crowd around us, they applaud because they can see what their team are having to do here so far tonight. As the home side, the onus is always on you to try and win the game, but maybe not this evening due to circumstances beyond Alex Neil's control. Now Diangana with a high cross into the area, which is nodded away at the far post by Story. Livermore regathers for West Brom. It's in towards Phillips, no free kick for him, and Barkhausen's clearance will deflect away off Livermore, and it will be a throw-in for Preston on the far side.
Yeah, I have to say they've been impressive, Preston. By the way, they've stuck to the task. You know, they're really together as a group. You can see that. You know, he's got that out of his team, Alex Neil. And they've got to take credit for keeping a clean sheet this half, I have to say.
Well, that is half-time. West Brom have absolutely dominated possession and attempts on goal. Declan Rudd with a couple of fine saves. In contrast, Sam Johnston has been a spectator in the West Brom goal, but at half-time at Deepdale, it is Preston North End 0, West Bromwich Albion 0. Thank you, Russ. And we're still waiting for both teams to come out, so it gives us an opportunity, Neil, to just have a look at some things in the FA Cup draw once again. And we talk about sides looking for shocks. Of course, one of your former sides, Boston United, you played for them when they entered the Football League. Yeah, they had some big nights at York Street when they got into the Football League. It was a difficult time when they were there, and it's going to be a big night coming up.
Yeah, well, and you know, obviously they've got to get past the hurdle of Rochdale first, and you know they'll be looking at that as a lucrative tie for them as well. But I just think it's a special place, York Street. I know it's the last season there for Boston before they moved to a new stadium, but you know, I just think it's a tight little ground. I think it's a difficult place to go and play as an opposition side, and I think if they do get past Rochdale and it is Newcastle, then it'll be a tough game for Newcastle.
And for West Brom, they've got Charlton. It's a tie which will be under the radar. It will generate very little publicity beyond those two clubs on third round day. And if you're a club in West Brom's position, maybe Leeds as well, though they've got a higher profile tie against Arsenal. Do you need the FA Cup if you're going for the Premier League?
Well, I mean, listen. I love the FA Cup. I think it's a great competition, and you'd never want to run it down. But I would think that the sides that are up there that are challenging West Brom, Leeds, you know, the sides that are up the top, they'll want to focus on the league, and they'll be looking at this game as well. You know, do we want to risk players, key players? Do we put obviously you've got to put a strong side out because you want to try and get a result and get into the next round. But I think it's these sides that start maybe looking at if they have a little bit of a run, and then you start getting to the last 8 maybe. You know, that's when it starts coming serious for them.
What's your best FA Cup memory?
FA Cup semi-final against Man U for Oldham, and then it went to a replay. Matt Robbins got the winner.
Yeah, after the 3-3 draw.
Yeah, we should have knocked him out, mate. Nick Henry hit a shot that hit the underside of the bar that went, if we'd had VAR now, they'd have been out. United went about 2 foot over the line and would have been through.
That was one of the games which ended Jim Leighton's career at Old Trafford, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's an unbelievable side that time. People like Brian Robson and some really top quality players. And
had you beaten them, history could have been very different.
Well, in the Manchester Evening News all the way through the week, if they'd have lost that game, we're talking about Alex Ferguson getting the sack. So it just shows you, doesn't it?
Careers and club histories can hang on one game, and on that occasion it was the FA Cup, as both sides re-emerge here for the second half in the Sky Bet Championship. 0-0 at half-time. A reminder of the two sides again. Preston, Rudd in goal, a back four of Rafferty, Story, Huntington and Brown, and they've been pretty resilient so far. Potts and Pearson in midfield with Stockley, Johnson, Maguire and Barkhausen. For West Brom, it's Johnson in goal, Ferguson and Gibbs, the fullbacks looking to push on, Bartley and Ajayi central defenders, with Sawyers and Livermore in front of them, Phillips, Pereira and Diangana behind Robson Kanu. And maybe Slaven Bilic will be looking for just a bit more from Diangana in the second half.
Yeah, a little bit more cutting edge, I would have thought. You know, I mean, you give the stats out there and the shots on target, that's not a good ratio for the amount of attempts that they've had, and they've been in some great positions where they could have kept the composure a little bit more. Yeah, they'll need a bit more out of Diangana. I think he's done really well against him, Alan Brown, I have to say.
Second half is underway. West Brom in their green and yellow stripes, playing from right to left as we look out from the Sir Tom Finney stand here at Deepdale. West Brom had 67% possession in the first half, twice as many passes as Preston, and they're coming forward now with Phillips cutting in from the right hand side. Back towards Livermore, and now Sawyers again finding Phillips in the central area. Pereira wide towards Gibbs. Gibbs has Diangana in support. He can deliver across into the penalty area, which bounces right through the 6-yard area and away and behind for a goal kick.
Wow, what a ball. What a fantastic ball in from Gibbs. And it's in that corridor of uncertainty, and if you look at the Preston defenders, they're leaving it for one another, and that flashes right across the 6-yard box. Only needs a touch from there and it's in.
I'm sure Charlie Austin, watching on from the bench, would have said I'd have had that.
Well, that's the thing as a striker. When you're seeing so much dominance in possession and so much creativity around the box, then you're itching to get on, and I think that's definitely the case with him tonight.
Declan Rudd, who made a couple of fine saves in the first half, clears downfield right-footed for Preston, looking for Stockley, but he was nudging Bartley, and the referee blew the whistle. I think Bartley was going to complain to the referee, thinking he was penalised, but he got the free kick. Ajayi wide to the left hand side, and Gibbs, the early ball played in behind, seeking out Diangana, but overhit, and it's a goal kick once again to Preston North End, who have really had to play this game as the away side in terms of a mindset due to the injuries and the quality of the opposition, and their supporters have done their best to try and get behind them throughout this game, but you get a sense that even now that they're almost hanging on for a point.
Well, they are. It's just a case of Preston stay with West Brom. I have to say there's been some really strong performances though from people like from Pearson and the two centre backs. I think Huntington and Story have stood up well, made it difficult, and Declan Rudd's been there when he's been asked.
Now Pereira back towards Gibbs. Gibbs will have to check back and find Ajayi, and he uses Sam Johnston, who had one save to make in the first half when he beat out a shot from Maguire at the near post. And now Ferguson charging forward again with some purpose down the right for West Brom. Infield towards Pereira. His pass there was cut out by Brown. Livermore regathers for the Baggies. Stabbed forward by Sawyers. Pereira on the edge of the area works the 1-2 with Robson Kanu. He goes down, doesn't get the free kick, and he does that far too often.
Yeah, I think the referee's seen through him, to be fair. Too obvious.
Now Diangana again scoops it into the area looking for Gibbs, and it's gathered by Declan Rudd, and Matheus Pereira is complaining to the referee Oliver Langford. He is a player of undoubted quality, but he needs to cut out the histrionics.
Yeah, and fair play to Oliver Langford as well for seeing through it. It needs more of that from officials. If they think it's not right, they're throwing themselves about. In fact, if he thinks it's a dive, book him.
Why did he stay on his feet? He's on the edge of the box.
Yeah, it's a great little give and go as well to get himself in that position.
Here is Stockley for Preston. Plays it back to Huntington, pinged back towards Stockley, who does well to bring the ball down, and now Brown coming forward for Preston down the right hand side into Johnson. Johnson picks up Barkhausen. Barkhausen tries to work the 1-2 with Brown, but it's cleared away, and Brown is now out of position, but Robson Kanu is the only West Brom player forward. He goes down as he falls between Story and Huntington, and once again the referee is unmoved.
Yeah, I tell you what, Paul Huntington's done fantastic. To say this is his first game for such a long time. He's been on the bench, I know, for quite a few games. But he's such an experienced campaigner, and he looks like he's been there all season.
4 minutes played in the second half. Now it's been given away by Ajayi, and he hauls down Stockley, and it's a free kick for Preston, 25 yards out, dead centre.
Yeah, brilliant play by Stockley, and he just picks Ajayi's pocket, and it is a foul because he pulls the big striker back, and it's in a good position this for Preston. It's just a pity that Paul Gallagher on the pitch for him to strike this free kick. Be interesting who will take it in his absence. Looks like Daniel Johnson, but good play by Big Stockley.
Well, it was very clumsy there from Semi Ajayi, and it's the first yellow card of the evening as well.
I think the referee's been good, Nigel, I have to say. The good referees, you hardly notice them.
Absolutely, and I think he's not been conned, let's be brutally honest, by players trying to throw themselves around.
Yeah, definitely.
This a free kick for Preston, no question about the free kick awarded there. And there is a real committee of white shirts over this. Potts, Johnson, Stockley all having their say. Alan Brown could curl it right-footed, or it could be Daniel Johnson with the left. Every West Brom player is back defending, and it's a pretty long and pretty tall wall in front of Sam Johnston. That's been about very little opportunities to attack throughout the game, but this a real chance for them. 5 minutes into the second half, it's Potts who fires it through. It may have hit his teammate Maguire as it headed towards goal, and in the end a challenge comes in on the far side, and a goal kick has been given to West Brom, and Preston don't make the most of that.
Yeah, it's the right decision again by the referee. He's just had a clumsy touch there, Brown, as he's trying to shepherd that ball out and let it go out for a corner. He just gets a touch on it, and it is a West Brom goal kick. It's a poor free kick in the end, I have to say, from Potts. Never really strikes it. Only 3 in the wall as well. Real opportunity to get that ball on target.
6 minutes played in the second half on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, and it's goalless here at Deepdale as West Brom look to move clear at the top of the Championship once again. But Preston, as they did here with Leeds, are becoming a very tough nut to crack. Leeds had to rely on a late goal to rescue a point here in a 1-1 draw earlier this season, one of only 2 sides to emerge from Deepdale with anything this season. Long throw for Preston on the far side, taken by Pearson. If it stays like this, then Leeds will remain top on goal difference.
I think what they've done, and you can see that the crowd sense it, that they're almost sucking this West Brom side into a scrap. There's quite a few little skirmishes and tackles in midfield and at the back now, and Preston's just starting to come out on top of them.
It's a free kick on the far side for Preston again, and West Brom here, as Neil Redfern rightly says, are not enjoying the experience so far since half-time. They were so much in control for much of the first half, but failed to score, and at the moment it has the look of a very different game. Johnston is over the free kick for Preston, and once again every outfield player inside the West Brom half. Flighted in towards Huntington. He's nodded back over the top by Barkhausen, and it's Livermore who was there to clear. A turn from Barkhausen on this near side, but it's Gibbs who clears, and now a chase for Robson. Carney down the centre. Oh dear me, almost an own goal from Joe Rafferty. It was a difficult ball for him, dropping over his shoulder 25 yards out with Robson Carnu breathing down his neck, and he nearly hooked the ball over Declan Rudd, but it was just wide.
Well, he was desperately scrambling across, and he's clearing on his swinger, his right foot, and he nearly squiffs that into the goal.
Preston again are claiming that Phillips doesn't have the ball inside the quadrant.
No,
I think they're right, but Phillips does deliver the corner high to the far post, nodded away as far as Gibbs. Gibbs has 2 players out on the left hand side. One of them is Pereira. The challenge comes in again from Pearson, and Pearson will clear only as far as Gibbs. Here is Pereira again. Now an opportunity for Phillips to try and keep the move going for West Brom. Sawyer's on the far side, back towards Livermore. Preston camped on the edge of their own penalty area once again with 9 minutes played in the second half, 0-0. Phillips with the cross into the penalty area, and it's nodded behind, but the corner's not been given because Preston have a free kick.
Brilliant. Paul Huntington, magnificent. That's when you want your big centre half to put his head in and get his body on the line. What a fantastic ball in towards the near post, but he's there, Huntington, where all the boots are flying in to try and put the ball in the net. Clears and wins the free kick. Great defending.
You're listening to Preston North End against West Brom in the Championship on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. And if you're stuck for Christmas ideas, visit screwfix.com/giftcard and send a Screwfix Christmas gift card today. As Preston tried to work the ball into the West Brom penalty area, and it goes right across the face of the 6-yard area, and the Baggies should be able to clear, but North End at the moment, since half-time, the better side.
I tell you what, there's just a whiff of blood, and they can smell it, Preston, at this moment in time. There's 1 or 2 passes going astray, people taking a chance, people getting caught in possession for West Brom, and they can sniff it, and the crowd can sniff it as well.
55 minutes played, 0-0. Ferguson with a long ball forward again for West Brom, but increasingly they are going long and they're losing the midfield battle. Here is Pearson, wide towards the far side. Maguire looks to scamper away from the challenge of Livermore, but he was caught by him, and it's another Preston free kick wide on the left.
Yeah, you see all of a sudden now people that were just tracking back and tackling like Maguire in the first half, they're getting on the ball now and doing a little bit, and look a different side now, Preston.
Brown, high right-footed ball into the penalty area. Stockley will challenge for it, nodded away though by Ajay. Pearson with a high up and under towards the edge of the penalty area. Stockley cushions the header down, but he was nudging into Gibbs as he did so, and West Brom had the free kick, and it's all very untidy.
Yeah, I mean this for Preston, this is perfect. This is knocking West Brom right off the stride. I mean the silky football that we saw first half, not as apparent now for West Brom second half. They need to be brave now, West Brom, and get on the ball and play.
Solihull Moors still leading Rotherham by 2-0 in tonight's FA Cup second round tie. The winner will be at home to Hull in the third round. Now Pereira, and this time he's been caught by Johnson, and the free kick's been given. It was a theatrical fall from Pereira, but I think there was contact.
Yeah, Johnson stayed out the way, rightly so. It's little Pearson who was arguing the case.
Yeah, he knows, doesn't he, Johnson?
Yeah, he wants to stay out of the way as well because he's too familiar to the referee's notebook. Pearson, who's been outstanding tonight, I have to say.
And it's a free kick for West Brom, 15 yards inside the Preston half. And they need a goal here because their control of the first half has now dissipated, and with 57 minutes played, Preston are giving as good as they're getting. Matt Phillips is over the free kick, and all the white shirts are back around their penalty area once again. Phillips drives it high to the far post. Barkley's the target, nods it across the face of goal, but there was too much air on the header, and it's gathered by Rudd.
Yeah, he gave Ajayi too much to do there, Phillips. It's the right idea, got the ball just in behind the back line of Preston. But it's a weak header and it's a good claim by Rudd.
I wonder when Slaven Bilic may turn to Charlie Austin as Johnson comes forward for Preston on the far side. His run was blocked off as he looked to find Maguire, but no free kick given. Sam Johnson clears downfield.
Well, I have to say, Robson Carter has had no change out of Huntington and Stockley at all.
And when he's played recently, Austin, not too many minutes, but he has scored a couple of goals as Potts tries to keep the ball in play to avoid a goal kick, but can't do so.
Yeah, I'll just look at their bench now, they're waving somebody back.
And Austin's record in full championship seasons for Burnley and Queen's Park Rangers, 17 goals, 28, 20 and 18.
It's not bad, is it? You can't ignore that sort of goal scoring prowess.
But he's only scored 4 so far this season for West Bromwich Albion, but 2 of those have come recently from the bench against Sheffield Wednesday and Bristol City. As Preston win another free kick on the far side, and it's thread down the line for Maguire, and Maguire has the opportunity to attack Ferguson. Maguire goes down very cheaply, and yet again the referee's not fooled, and Johnston gathers for West Brom.
Yeah, but they've definitely found their feet a little bit here, Preston. Much more of a game now. West Brom having to work really hard to try and get on the ball and play.
And it's an orthodox 2 up front now with Johnson and Stockley alongside each other, with Barkhausen and Potts in behind them. Here is Barkhausen wide towards Johnson on this near side, the right. Stockley will try and provide the outlet for him, but it's Ajay who just holds up Johnson, and it will be a throw-in for Preston, which Brown will take on this near side, the Preston captain this evening.
Yeah, really underrated Danny Johnson. I think he's such a good footballer, great talent with the ball, works hard, tracks back, does the ugly stuff.
8 goals so far this season. Now Maguire from the throw, and it may break to Potts inside the area, and it's bulleted away by Ferguson for a corner, and he had to make that challenge, or Potts was clean through on goal.
I'll tell you what, it's great defending, because that ricochets through to him perfectly, Potts, and he's running on to goal, And he sees that quick as a flash, Ferguson, and clears the danger, but great defending.
An hour played, 0-0 at Deepdale on TalkSport 2. Brown will take the corner on this near side. Johnson comes short, but it will surely be an outswinger from Brown into the penalty area. Huntington is forward, but it's beyond him, high towards the far post, and it's beyond everybody. And his ball has gone out before it came in, and again, that is a real waste.
Yeah, that's a real waste. You know, you've got to make sure them balls come in the box when you get the opportunity.
And here is a change for West Bromwich Albion, and it's Matt Phillips who is heading off, and Kyle Edwards will come on to replace him.
Well, he's performed quite well for me, Matt Phillips, tonight. I mean, he's looked as dangerous as any West Brom player. He's had a couple of efforts on target, one that flashed just wide that Rudd got a touch to.
Kyle Edwards, only 21 years of age, maybe slightly more direct. Scored their first goal of the season at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, it looks like he's swapping sides with Diagana, who's coming
usually
out
comes in from the left-hand side. And I think Diagana needs to maybe show a bit more in the second half, and Pereira tries to pick out the run of Robson Kanu down the centre, and as Neil rightly said earlier on, he's getting absolutely nothing out of Huntington and Rafferty at the moment.
Yeah, they've clearly marked him well. You know, they've been tight to him, they've made it difficult for him, they've not let him turn, and they've not let him get the ball down and bring West Brom players into the game this half.
High ball swung across the field for Preston towards this near side, seeking out Alan Brown, but it's headed away by Edwards, and it will be a throw-in for Preston on this near side. 52 minutes played, and it's 0-0 here at Deepdale on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Over the next two nights there is Premier League reporting on TalkSport around the grounds on Tuesday and Wednesday. Leasing.com trophy action on TalkSport 2. MK Dons against Coventry tomorrow night. Tranmere against Manchester United's under-21s on Wednesday. And we're at the Den in the Championship on Friday for Millwall against Forest, with Huddersfield against Leeds to follow on Saturday lunchtime. Now Maguire for Preston on the edge of the penalty area, cuts in field, square towards Johnson, left foot shot from him is just wide, and it was turned wide by Sam Johnston.
That's Preston's best effort of the night. Fantastic strike from Gary Johnson. Great first touch, good play by Maguire initially to find him, and he fashions the ball well onto his left foot and curls it into the far corner, and it's a great save, to be fair, from Sam Johnson. That's going in.
And he would have seen it late. The West Brom players were used as a shield there by Daniel Johnson to curl that ball in, and that's why Sam Johnson is one of the best goalkeepers in the Championship. Another Preston corner. They have a bus queue on the edge of the penalty area ready to split and cause problems, and it's delivered high into the 6-yard area, and it's Carl Bartley who rises to head clear. Sawyers tries to bring the ball down 3 yards out. He's given the ball away to Maguire, and it's cut back, and here is an opportunity, and it's blocked on the line by Ferguson, and Romain Sawyers almost gifted Preston a goal as they win another corner.
Yeah, just starting to wobble here, West Brom. And I don't know what Sawyers is doing there. He pulls that ball down in the box. I don't know if he's trying to turn it away or give it to somebody, but two white shirts on him. Just got to clear his lines, surely.
And it was cleared off the line by Ferguson. And Preston asking all of the questions now. Brown will take the corner again on the far side. And the Lily Whites are dominant here. Brown's delivery, Johnson's lost it, and it's headed over the top, almost underneath the crossbar by Jayden Stockley.
Yeah, he just got spun round there the last minute. Jayden Stockley attacked it brilliantly. Sam Johnson's nowhere. The ball's curling in towards him in the 6-yard box. He's got to command his 6-yard box there, the goalkeeper. Great ball in by Brown. His last 2 or 3 deliveries have been great.
Now Livermore for West Brom as they look to break. Pereira, again he goes down. The referee thought about the free kick, but allows play to continue. Robson-Kanu plays it back towards Livermore, spread wide to the left-hand side, and Gibbs, a low ball in towards Robson-Kanu, cut out well though at the near post by Story. Now Sawyers just slips as he plays it back towards Ajayi. Pereira given the room to turn, and this really epitomises the championship. On any given day, any side from any level can cause problems against the best. Preston are a very good side, but the sort of shape they're in at the moment in terms of injury has lessened their impact on other sides, but here they're really coming on strong.
Yeah, there's a real belief in what they're doing. You can see that. Whatever's been said at half-time's made a difference.
And now Diangana coming forward for West Brom towards the edge of the penalty area. They've been stung into action by that flurry of activity inside their own penalty area. Sawyers infield again towards Diangana. He'll try and take on Pearson on the edge of the box, post it back towards Sawyers, but Sawyers left something on the player who was trying to challenge him there, and it's a free kick to Preston.
Again though, there's never a moment in and around the box where there's a green and yellow shirt that's unattended. You know, there's a white shirt next to him. I just looked at as Pereira dropped in to pick the ball up there earlier on, and as he looks to turn out, who's stood at the side of him? Pearson. You know, and that's that sort of diligence and attention to detail that's keeping this clean sheet for Preston at this moment in time.
Both these sides in action at the weekend. Preston are away to Queen's Park Rangers on Saturday, and we'll be featuring West Bromwich Albion again on Sunday on TalkSport 2. Full commentary from the Hawthorns at noon. I'm looking forward to that one. West Brom against Swansea. Steve Cooper, the Swansea manager, is here tonight. Now Barkhausen for Preston. Right corner of the penalty area, wide towards Brown, who chops back onto his left foot. High cross towards the far post, which is just beyond a leaping Potts, and it's a goal kick to West Brom.
Yeah, it's great play, to be fair, by Brown from right back. Played ever so well tonight, Brown. I mean, whoever's played outside wide against him is dealt with. He's got forward second half, he's put some great ball in the box, and that's an in-swinging cross with his left foot, and I think it's Maguire that just gets underneath it. He's trying to attack the back stick, to be fair to him, but he's just got to lie out and run in, and he's coming onto that.
Cleared downfield again by Johnston, and it's flicked all the way through towards Declan Rudd once again, who has had little to do since half-time. Now Stockley beaten to it in the air by Ferguson. He's got a very good leap for a player who isn't the tallest. Now it's cleared downfield by Rudd again, and it breaks for Preston. They will try and bring it forward with Rafferty on the far side. Maguire takes over. Barkhausen makes the run down the centre. Here is Potts, who, like Neil, is a former Barnsley midfielder. Now Pearson at the base of the midfield. Story again, wide towards the left-hand side, and it's worked down the line by Maguire, and in the end it will be a throw-in for West Bromwich Albion. And Brad Potts has done well because he's not had a huge amount of experience at championship level.
No, he hasn't, and he's led the front line in the press towards putting the back line under pressure of West Brom. He's done it well. He's got round Stockley well, Barkhausen and Maguire able support as well in wide areas, but they just need that little bit of luck in front of goal. Preston, it's time to force the issue now, and it's sprung West Brom into a little bit of life.
69 minutes played, 0-0 at Deepdale on TalkSport 2. If it stays like this, Leeds will take the leadership into the weekend, and they have a big West Yorkshire derby at Huddersfield, live on TalkSport 2, 12:30 on Saturday, followed by Spurs against Burnley with Russ and the team live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where he seems to be every week at the moment, as Carl Edwards tries to drive through the cover for West Bromwich Albion. He was pulled back close to the halfway line by Potts, and it's a free kick to West Brom.
Yeah, great determination and pace and strength from Edwards. Just turned the ball on the sixpence and set off, and he's pulled back. But it's that sort of determination of a run and pace that they need at this moment in time, West Brom.
Edwards onto his left foot on this near side. No room to deliver the cross, so he goes all the way back towards Kieran Gibbs. Now Pereira. And there is space and time for him right at the heart of the very good playing surface here at Deepdale, as Gibbs finds Edwards again at walking pace, clips it in right-footed, looking for Livermore, who was always off balance as he tangled with Johnson, and it's through towards Declan Rudd.
Yeah, so well as Preston's midfield done that's the first time we've mentioned Livermore this half. He's almost been non-existent, and not for the lack of trying or wanting to get on the ball, but they've just dominated in that area, Preston.
Now a long goal kick from Rudd is headed away by Bartley. Johnson will try and find Maguire inside the area. He goes down, and credit to him, he's straight back on his feet to try and win the ball back, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Well, I have to say, for the first time, I'm not sure that the referee's in such a good position. He's a fair way back. It looks like there's bodies in his way. He does fall over in the box there, Maguire. I don't know if there is contact. It's difficult for us to see, but there's definitely a challenge made.
0-0 as we head into the final 20 minutes here on TalkSport 2. Preston against West Brom in the Championship with Screwfix, and if you're stuck for Christmas gift ideas, visit screwfix.com/gift card and send a Screwfix Christmas gift card today. And there's a Preston player down off the pitch.
Yeah, it's
on the far side.
Ben Pearson. They don't want this little fella to go off.
No.
Just overstretched there as he tried to regain a ball. Looks like he's strained his groin a little bit. He's down prostrate on the floor. I mean, he's been outstanding tonight, Pearson.
Well, we said in the first half he was doing the job of 2 or 3 players, and that's continued.
Yeah, definitely, mate. You know, and what goes amiss a little bit, I mean, he's aggressive and he gets about the pitch and he competes. He's a good little footballer as well. Good for Preston, he's on his feet.
Well, it's a test of sides who believe they have the capability to get promotion and be champions, to come through games like this and win, and West Bromwich Albion have to prove that now. Well,
that's right, and to be fair to Slaven Bilic, he was very cautious in his comments before the game about how well Preston have done at home and what a good home record it is and what a good side and how well they're playing. And credit to Alex Neil, you know, he knows that this is a tough game tonight. His side's been excellent first half, I have to say, but they've definitely lost their way second half.
Solihull Moors 3, Rotherham 0.
That's the beauty of the FA Cup, I suppose.
Hull will be heading to Solihull Moors in the third round, and that will not help Paul Warne, although Rotherham have been going well recently in League One.
Yes, no, absolutely.
But a great night for Tim Flowers and his team, currently third in the National League, and they were very unlucky in the FA Cup last season not to come through against Blackpool in a replay, but looks like they're coming through this evening.
Well, they had an unbelievable run when Flowers went in last season and took over.
Yeah,
I think they went something like 16 games unbeaten.
Just missed out in the playoffs in the end.
Yeah.
Now Barkhausen coming forward for Preston on this near side. Brown with a high cross into the penalty area, nodded away by Bartley. Rafferty will try and recover, and it's a throw-in on the far side for West Brom.
Looks like there's more movement on the West Brom bench.
Well, surely Charlie Austin will get an opportunity, but maybe Slaven Bilic believes that they need to shore things up at the moment.
Well, they've definitely lost the momentum.
Now an opportunity for Edwards to come forward, found by Gibbs down the left-hand side. Edwards has gone beyond Brown towards the byline, checks back onto his right foot. Gibbs with a high cross towards the far post, nodded away again by Rafferty. Now Pereira finding Edwards again. Edwards has Pereira in support, but Edwards gave him no real chance with the pass, and there was a dismissive flick of the hand there from Pereira as he lost out, and Stockley will fight for the ball with a Jai on this near side, but West Brom will come clear again.
Yeah, they just overplayed for me a little bit there. I think there were an opportunity there for Pereira to hit that. I know it was on the angle, but he's a good striker with the ball, the little fella. But he chose to curl across into the far post instead, which was easily cleared.
Now Diangana, as we head to the final 15 minutes, 0-0 at Deepdale. Edwards slides it back to Diangana once again. He can attack the fullback and head towards the byline, but it's good defending. It was an opportunity just to block his run inside the penalty area, which happened, and here comes Charlie Austin.
Yeah, well, he had to come on at some point. I mean, full credit to Jordan Storey and Paul Huntington. They've been outstanding. because he's in the rich vein of form, to be fair, Robson Kanu. But he's had absolutely no change out of them two so far.
So Charlie Astron will come on. Dejan Garner heading off. He's a player who has offered plenty of assists recently, but the goals have really dried up for him. Only 1 in 13 now after a really good start to the season. But you look at other aspects of his game and he's still making a contribution, but maybe not tonight.
I think they were hoping that he would be the platform that they could launch attacks from, trying to get the ball into him. But the centre-half pairing has been excellent for Preston.
Now Potts on the edge of the area, pokes it through to Stockley, who was onside, or at least the flag didn't go up. But there's a West Brom player down as Sam Johnston looked to release the ball quickly, and there's a suspicion of a head injury here, so Oliver Langford quickly stops play.
Yeah, he's been excellent, the referee. Just caught him, I think, as he went to stride over him, Brad Potts. He's grown into this game, Brad Potts, I have to say. And to be fair, I mean, it would be wrong to say that he wasn't on the ball much first half, because he did so much work tracking off the ball and without the ball, as did Pearson and did Daniel Johnson. But they're now trying to find a feet with the ball, and he's been excellent second half.
And don't forget, more football this week on TalkSport 2. MK Dons against Coventry tomorrow. Tranmere against Manchester United under-21s on Wednesday from the Leasing.com Trophy. Friday night, Millwall against Forest from the Championship here on TalkSport 2. I'll be alongside Sam Parkin at the Den for that one. And on Saturday, on TalkSport, as part of game day, Everton against Chelsea at 12:30. The Manchester derby only on TalkSport at 5:30, with game day live with Adrian Durham in between all the goals as they go in. And then here on TalkSport 2, big game as well, 12:30, Huddersfield against Leeds, and it's Spurs against Burnley at 3, followed by the full-time phone-in. And at midday on Sunday, I'll be at the Hawthorns for West Bromwich Albion against Swansea. So all the key games at the top of the Sky Bet Championship on TalkSport 2 over this weekend. And we're heading towards that very busy Christmas period, and you can either get a run on and really get some momentum, or things can go the other way.
Yes, absolutely. You get a glut of games at that time, and you need a little bit of luck with injuries and suspensions and what have you, but you can definitely put yourselves in a good position.
12.5 minutes to play here. West Brom heading for only their second goalless draw since Boxing Day of 2017. Edwards with a high cross into the penalty area. Pereira was challenging for it, but he ducked out there as Rafferty just came and offered a token challenge, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad cross, but it's a difficult cross to get something on, and he's too far underneath it, to be fair, Pereira. Just lost the way a little bit, West Brom. Obviously, we've got to give Preston some credit here, because they've made it that way. They've got closer to him, they've got further up the pitch. If you look at the side, they're 10-15 yards further up the pitch, they're closer to West Brom.
And let's be honest, nobody's won here so far this season apart from Preston. So West Brom dominated the first half, but Preston hung in there. But we shouldn't be surprised they've come on stronger.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Now Robson Kanu tries to peck out Edwards down the left-hand side, but the ball was overhit. And Robson Kanu, arms outstretched, suggests that Edwards should have done more of that. And it's a throw-in for Preston down this near side.
Yeah, two things there. It was almost like he wasn't ready for it, Edwards. And if you're going to give him it there, Robson Kanu, give it him. He's played it 5 yards in front of him with a bit of pace. He's going to run out of play.
At times, the body language has not been great from some of the West Brom players.
No.
Now Robson Kanu again, back to goal. And he's lost out to Johnson, and he fouled Johnson, and it's a Preston free kick. And the Preston crowd here may be sensing there are 3 points on offer.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the game's going that way at this moment in time, and as well as Preston have done to force that, you can see West Brom's dejection as such. They've had that much dominance in the first half, and it's not going their way now. And like you say, 1 or 2 heads are just starting to drop. A little bit of arm waving about when things don't go their way, and it's like music to these Preston players' ears.
As we head towards the final 10 minutes on TalkSport 2, and we'll be looking back on a busy weekend in the Championship following this game with Russ until we depart at 10 o'clock as a high ball is played forward again, and Preston are caught offside. and West Brom have a free kick, and they look to be a side with the urgency to try and win this game, because they'll want to be top. They've been top after the 8 previous games they played in the Championship, but if it stays like this, they won't be here this evening. Edwards now coming forward again down the left-hand side, always looks to come in field onto his right foot. He's got support from Gibbs, but Edwards does well to turn, delivers a left-footed cross, and it looked like his wrong foot because it was scuffed, and Pearson clears away for Preston. Stockley heads it infield looking for Johnston, but only finds Gibbs, and here is Pereira now on the edge of the Preston penalty area. Has support from Ferguson on the outside, but comes infield, lofts it in, looking for the run of Kieran Gibbs, but it's overhit. One bounce out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, I know he's been excellent in other games, Pereira, but just this half for me, too many touches. There's 2 or 3 times where he can play people in quicker and do things earlier, and he has 3, 4, 5 touches on the ball, and the chance is gone. And at this moment in time, it's making them stutter a little bit, West Brom. They need a little bit more fluid. They need the ball speed to get the ball through Preston quicker.
Declan Rudd will clear downfield. 9 minutes to play. West Brom had a single 0-0 draw at Reading last season, and they have scored so many goals since their arrival in the Championship, but at the moment they are drawing a blank after 118 since the start of last season. A high ball into the box again for Preston, headed away by Ajayi, and hooked further clear by Livermore, but it will come straight back. Here is Brown, who has been outstanding as a makeshift right back this evening. Now Barkhausen does well to keep the ball in play down the right hand side. He will take on Gibbs, head to the byline, delivers a cross, blocked by Gibbs. It's a Preston corner.
Yeah, well played. Very strong down this right hand side, Preston, with Brown and Barkhausen. Lots of energy, good touch, willingness to work for one another. It's a good place to force the corner on this side.
And it's Johnson who will take it. And once again, West Brom have everybody back defending. At this stage, maybe they will take a point with 8 minutes to play, and it would leave Leeds and West Brom locked together on 40 points, 5 points clear of Fulham in 3rd place. Johnson with the corner though for Preston. An in-swinger high to the far post. Stockley was rising again, but it just flicks off his head, but it's regathered by Barkhausen at the far post. He has to take the long way round and go all the way back towards Pearson. A high diagonal ball from him towards the edge of the area. Johnson will jump with Edwards. Edwards will clear on this near side, finding Robson Kanu. Robson Kanu though loses out to Pearson, but then does well to regain possession. Pearson all over him as Robson Kanu goes back towards Ajayi. And here is Barkley now, forward towards Pereira. Can West Brom snatch a late winner, which on their second half performance they wouldn't really deserve? But here is Pereira. Well, not with shots like that. Left-footed, 25 yards out, 40 yards wide.
Yeah, a little bit of desperation in that, I have to say. I think there's been opportunities before that where he could have struck and hit the target, but he's well away out, and it's a high tariff to get that ball on target.
Final change for West Brom. Robson Kanu comes off, and Filip Kravinovic, the Croatian on loan from Benfica, will come on. And he's a player who started the season but has had to cool his heels on the bench in recent times due to the emergence of Mateus Pereira.
Well, to be fair to Slaven Bilic, he's played all his cards now. He's looking to try and get the win, obviously.
Well, Kravinovic can come in and play as the number 10 behind Austin, with Pereira to the right of midfield and Edwards to the left. But Edwards on his wrong side never looks comfortable coming forward, does he?
No, and I think obviously the full-back on this side, Brown, he's well aware of that. He's forcing him down the line.
Here is Edwards again, checking back and finding Gibbs. Sawyers wide towards Edwards and back towards Sawyers again. That's a good ball infield towards Kravinovic. His first touch. Pereira screaming for the ball down the right hand side on the corner of the penalty area. A couple of step overs from him. He rolls the ball under the sole of his boot. It's square again towards the run of Livermore. Pereira tried to play the 1-2, but it was too deliberate. They were crowded out, but here is Ferguson, and there's some frustration from the West Brom fans behind that goal.
Yeah, there are 2 or 3 opportunities to shoot there. You can almost see or hear the West Brom fans saying shoots right in front of them, right at that end.
Kravinovic wide towards Bartley again, and here is Livermore, slid in towards Pereira. He had space for the shot down the right hand side. He now heads towards the byline, drives it in low, and it's deflected behind for a corner. If he'd taken the shot first time, he had a clear sight of goal.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 opportunities now, Pereira, where he could have shot for me and overdone it. I mean, he's got great ability, there's no 2 ways about that. And a couple of moments there where he's on the box and he keeps on in possession, keeps his composure. You see the desperation of the Preston players trying to get back in to stop him shooting, but the moment had gone.
4 minutes to play, 0-0 at Deepdale on Talk Sport 2. Pereira will take the corner, and it will be an in-swinger, and he goes for goal, and it skims the roof of the netting, and that's another opportunity spurned.
Well, that's shocking. That's a waste. That's a real waste.
13,015 the crowd here at Deepdale this evening, which is around the average. They've had a couple of crowds lower than that during midweek games. Got 18,000 when Leeds played here, of course. 19,000 for the local derby against Blackburn. The Preston are a club really punching above their weight in terms of resources. It's a sparkling, well-appointed stadium, but the playing budget is probably not top 6, but that's where they are.
No, they've done unbelievably well, and they've done unbelievably well here tonight as well.
Now Austin finds Kravinovic. Pereira down the right-hand side. Austin makes the run down the centre, but it's a deeper cross in, looking for Edwards from Pereira, and it's overhit again, and it's a goal kick, and we have less than 3 minutes to play.
Yeah, to be fair to Pereira, that's a little bit better, because he comes inside his left foot and he sees a run, so he plays it earlier. Not as many touches. It's just at the pass or crossfield pass, just overhit slightly, and Edwards can't get on the end of it.
Change now for Preston, and it's Brad Potts who comes off, and Josh Harrop will come on to replace him. Scored on his Premier League debut for Manchester United. Before moving on to Preston, that's been a fairly well-trodden path in recent years.
Yeah, he's getting a good round of applause, Potts, and rightly so. He's turned his blood to water tonight for the cause. Put a real shift in. Played well second half.
In a previous life, I used to cover Preston North End, and I remember David Beckham coming here on loan.
Yeah, it was his first Football League club, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Played 4 games, and Fergie took him back and put him straight in the first team. But he was seeing balls that no one else could appreciate, and scored direct from a corner, which says it all.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Now Austin tries to feed it through towards the edge of the penalty area, and there's a break now from Edwards. Edwards goes down, and the penalty has been given, and West Brom have the opportunity to win this game right at the end. Kyle Edwards with the burst from midfield. He was driven wide by Declan Rudd, but Rudd got something of him, and the penalty has been given, and Preston are distraught.
Well, there were just a couple of instances before where he's picked it up and run with it, Edwards. Real determination and directness in his play, and it's exactly that's got him right into the box. And in the end, it's almost a poor decision from Declan Rudd. He's arguing that he's not put his hands in front of him to bring him down, that he's pulled his hands away, but
he did.
It looked like there was contact there to me.
Looked to be clear contact, and there was no need at all. But Charlie Austin, who came on late to score a winner from the spot against Sheffield Wednesday 2 games ago for West Brom, will now try and do likewise here as we tick into the 90th minute. He's the sort of player you'd want in this situation.
Yeah, he is. A lot of pressure on this, to be fair to him. A lot riding on this.
This would put West Bromwich Albion back on top of the championship. Charlie Austin against Declan Rudd. Austin steps up right-footed, and he makes no mistake at all. Low into the far corner, and West Bromwich Albion have stolen it right at the end. Preston left bereft. West Bromwich Albion have been up against it the whole of the second half, but one break, one chance, one goal, and they're back on top.
Yeah, the irony of it, to be fair, They've done ever so well this half, Preston. But it's great composure from Charlie Austin, seasoned professional, goal scorer. Used all his experience there to send the keeper the wrong way. Preston going back to the top of the league. West Brom going back to the top of the league, by the looks of it.
A minimum of 3 more minutes as Preston make a double change. David Nugent, one of the players who will be coming on. What a sickener for them.
Oh, they've grafted to a man tonight, and to be fair, they've worked their way back into this game. They've been the better of the two sides second half.
Well, Nugent, one of the players coming on. Maguire and Barkhausen are the players who are going off, and Billy Bowden, son of Paul, will come on alongside Nugent. So basically they've got 5 forwards on the field now, and why not?
Well, they've got to go back to front and try and work something, try and get on a ricochet or a rebound.
Well, promotion chasing teams often find a way, and West Bromwich Albion may have done so here at Deepdale. Preston convinced it was a harsh penalty, but Charlie Austin kept his cool. His 5th goal for West Brom, and he's now got 3 in 3 games, all from the bench.
To be fair to Slaven Bilic, he started with his substitutions quite early in the second half. He was changing it to try and affect things, because Preston was really well in the ascendancy.
On the edge of the area, Stockley for Preston, but West Brom will clear. Hacked forward by Story, wide to the far side. Rafferty. And there was the opportunity for Harrop to try and play the ball forward, but West Brom will bring it clear, and Kyle Edwards now over on the right hand side will charge forward, but it's cleared away by Pearson, long downfield, nodded straight back by Bartley. Austin is able to bring the ball down on his chest, and West Brom continue that run without a goalless draw this season, but they've been really fortunate here. Now Livermore back towards Kravinovic. Livermore again, and they will try and just play keep ball for the remaining moments. Kravinovic. Edwards involved again, but Preston will try and clear. Brown though only finds Kravinovic, and now Pereira on the edge of the penalty area is robbed by Bowden, and Preston will knock it long as they have to. Stockley does well to flick on. Here is Nugent. Now Brown again, square towards Johnson. Pearson goes square with the Preston crowd looking for him to play it forward, but in reality he had no one to hit. But here is Brown now, who checks back in field. Harrop will try and attack the penalty area. Johnson in support down the left hand side. Nugent waits for the cross, but it's blocked at the near post by Ferguson.
Yeah, good defending by West Brom. Just watching Slaven Bilic on the touchline here, he's almost like he's playing. He's working up and down his technical area, getting low, barking his orders on. This would be a massive win for West Brom if they can keep a clean sheet here.
We're beyond the allotted 3 minutes of added time. One final cross into the area from North End. Bowden will challenge for it. It skims off his head, and a goal kick has been given. The Preston fans were looking for the corner, but that might be enough.
Yeah, it's good defending in the end, to be fair, from Gibbs. Just gets his body in the way, makes it difficult for Bowden. Can't get any contact on it.
I think there might be a yellow card here for Sam Johnston if he's not careful, because he's booting the ball around behind the goal before spotting up the goal kick, and I'm sure the referee will add on a few extra seconds for that as the Preston fans begin to stream away from Deepdale. They are absolutely gutted.
Such a big effort they've put into this game. You think of the players that's missing as well that would have made a difference in this game.
Now Huntington plays it forward, and that is it. West Bromwich Albion are back on top of the championship, but only just. A Charlie Austin penalty in the 90th minute has won this game. Carl Edwards tumbling over the challenge of Declan Rudd. Preston believed it was a very harsh award. They lose at home here at Deepdale for the first time this season, and the Preston players are grouping around the referee Oliver Langford to make their complaints. but it's too late now, and although West Brom were poor in the second half, they have somehow found a way to leapfrog above Leeds United yet again. Full time at Deepdale, Preston North End 0, West Bromwich Albion 1.